6 of the Digital Contractor Podcast. I am your host, Brian Hess, with my business partner and friend, Brett Sutherland here. Brett, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Brian.
We are here to talk today about the second half of 2021 and what it takes to be a winner on the back half of 2021 here. It has been a crazy year in the construction industry, as everybody knows. It's been busier than ever. Our customers are getting better results than they've ever been able to get in the past. On the digital front, there's a lot going on from the Google Ads perspective, things shifting around and changing. And so we wanted to break that down and give you guys some tips on what we believe are some of the keys to winning in the second half of 2021. So I know that, Google AdWords has been a conversation that we've had on the podcast in the past, Brett. And I know that, from our perspective and what we can see, it is becoming more important than ever to be present there. And I wanted you to kind of fill in the gaps. I know that, you're keeping an eye on a lot of that stuff very closely. So I wanted to get your perspective and have you share with everybody kind of what you're seeing on that front.
Yeah, Brian. So it's about knowing when to keep your foot on the gas and when to go faster. I mean, that really is the name of the game. If you are seeing 20, 30, 40 leads a month from $1,000 spend and you want to grow your business faster, throw more money at it, right? I mean, Google's changes they've made to their algorithm show ads, then maps, which is now consist of 2 ads, and organic is below the fold. So I've gotten, obviously we work with hundreds of contractors. The ones that are really just making money hand over fist and growing, doubling, tripling their revenues are the ones that understand this. This is a pay-to-play environment. There's no way from escaping that. So you should absolutely join the party. Now is the time to be spending money to fill up next year's business. I talk to contractors all the time that say, hey, you know what? I'm completely tapped out. I can't take any more business on this month. But I would encourage you to say, okay, what about March, April, May, when you start, working again in the cold weather environments? Let's go ahead and run the ads. Let's up your budget and let's have a phenomenal start to 2022. That's the guys that are really accelerating and growing and have that growth mindset that I think everyone has the potential to do. It's just knowing how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that we are using as a strategy this year at the Payment Group is, utilizing the back half of this year to not only continue to grow this year and to, grab those maybe last minute jobs that are out there, those larger projects that people are looking for solutions for. But what we learned last year by running ads heavily on the back half of the year was how well that set us up for the spring of this year. So it's without a doubt one of the keys, I believe, to not only a successful close to 2021, but to your point, starting off 2022 with a lot of momentum and a lot of people thinking of your company first because you were the last company that they thought of last year. So from an ad strategy standpoint, man, I know that we've had a few conversations here over the past few days. Why don't we talk about some of those key ad strategies and some of the things that you see people may be doing right and some of the things that people are doing wrong with some of those ad strategies that you see out there?
So as Google has become more of a necessity, Google's trying to weed through the guys who are not committed for the long term. They don't want to give up valuable real estate based on the budget that you have. They want to show the most relevant ad to the search. That's what Google's known for. Where we come into play is figuring out that relevancy score, figuring out when to post that ad. Obviously, as the second half is heated up, there's more competition from an ad spend. Brian, you went from April at 28 cents a click to 67 cents a click. But I guarantee your competitor who doesn't care about relevancy score, and you're working with a company that just wants to take your money, they're spending $7 and $10. They're not seeing an ROI. So that is the strategy that lead revenue brings to the table to really get you from point A to point B in a more cost-effective manner with more traffic for less spend.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with that 100%, man. And I think that, driving that traffic, and again, what we're talking about here, guys, is really, driving volume traffic and volume visibility to your brand, right? We looked at the analytics on our account, and what did we have? Like 1.3 or 1.4 million impressions in a month, right? From those running those ads with high relevancy, lower pay per click cost. And so the amount of traffic increases significantly. And so in turn, the conversion rate leads to more leads pouring in the door. Let's talk for a minute, man, about one of your favorite topics, about advertising against the competition in a market, and kind of how the construction space needs to adapt to how to handle those phone calls and those inquiries when you're advertising on the keywords of your competition.
So the longer I'm in the industry, Brian, I continue to bang my head against the table when I go through and look at the missed calls that contractors have, because they don't have the size staff that a car dealership has. The missed calls are through the roof month after month. We have customers that are spending money and not answering the phone. That is honestly like taking a wad of money and throwing it in the toilet. It is the fastest way to grow your revenue. I listened to calls today and found a person in the Southeast, answered the phone. They asked by name, "Is this so-and-so?" which is the competitor 10 miles down the road. She said, "No, honey, it's not. Let me go ahead and give you their number." Well, that came from a competitor ad we had out there. I encourage everyone in this industry, if you don't have the staff, get a phone service. Get a company, whether it's Lead Revenue or someone else, that is well-trained to handle those calls, but most importantly, not miss calls. Because, Brian, I still to this day see that as the number one leakage in any company that we do business with, is missed calls. And, I was on the phone earlier today, and a guy said to me, "Hey, I want to triple my business. Can I just take my ad spend from, 2,000 to 8,000? I said, "Absolutely, you can do that. And you can definitely see the momentum. You can see it ramp up. How many phone calls are you missing now?" And he's like, "A few." Well, how many more do you think you're going to miss when we quadruple your budget? I'm telling you, the biggest thing you can do is fill that hole. And many of the companies listening to this will double their revenue by fixing that one problem. You're talking spending less than $1,000 and never having another missed call. I mean, Brian, you saw it firsthand at the Pavement Group. You came to me and you said, "Hey, we either need to cut the budget, or we need to stop advertising, or we need help with our phones." And you signed up with a Lead Revenue phone service. What is your experience? How many phone calls are you seeing emails coming in from now?
Oh, it's all day. And to give you guys some perspective, we were in a similar situation to most companies where, we just weren't built for the call volume that was coming in after we started running ads. And, we have a very heavy focus on getting back to people quickly. Being able to communicate with them fast and efficient is the number one key that we have found to be able to increase the conversion rate or close rate on those customers who are inquiring. And so I called Brett and said, "Hey, we've got a problem here, because our staff is not able to get to all these calls. Like, they're coming in so fast. They were coming in one right after the next, right? People would click on the ad, one right after the other, and they're literally calling the office at the same time. And so one of them's automatically going to voicemail. The other one's being answered by somebody on the phone. But it was taking our staff, who need to be doing other things, a lot of their time throughout the day just answering phone calls. And so we looked at, the scalability of, to your point, being able to push a higher volume of ads, a higher volume of leads and potential, but what is the ramifications of that on the business? And so we moved towards, having a phone answering service. That phone answering service now, is able to answer the phone. they connect those people with our staff. If our staff doesn't answer, if they're unavailable, then they type that up in an email and send it to us. And I would say, on average, we get probably 8 to 10 emails a day typically. And so you can imagine that would be 8 to 10 missed calls every single day that a customer would be calling, getting voicemail, and not talking to a person, as opposed to, having a person that can walk them through, hey, we'll be back to you within this time frame. They have a specific script that they follow, to be able to give that person some confidence that somebody's actually going to call them back. And it works incredible for, just being able to get in contact with people. And I could show you analytics that talk about, that show clearly the conversion difference between those people that get the phone answered and those people that don't.
I did a study. It's a 300% increase in your close rate by answering the phone. I mean, look, you've doubled your revenue, Brian, last year. You'll double it again this year. I would venture to say, if you didn't have the phone answering service, you would not be where you are.
Yeah, I would agree, man. I mean, it is the secret weapon to everything is communication. And the number one stereotype of contractors is that they don't answer the phone and that they don't follow up and they don't do this, they don't do that. So the stereotypes, for those people who are letting their calls go to voicemail, I can relate because, we're all out in the field. We're doing things. We're running projects. A lot of people are out on the jobs themselves doing it. And so that is definitely one of the keys, in my opinion, to winning the second half of 2021. It's not going to get less busy, right? This is one of the busiest years in the construction industry, period. So if it's not going to get less busy and you're going to be getting more phone calls and more leads, your ability to sift through those. Now imagine, instead of those going to voicemail, and at the end of the day, you got to go through and listen to every single one of those voicemails. You just have a list of emails that you can literally read through and see exactly which ones are hot leads, which ones are commercial projects versus residential projects, things like that. So it's super quick, super efficient. And when you see those on your phone, you can forward it to somebody else on your team that should be giving those people a call. And so within minutes of that person calling and not getting somebody, but getting the answering service, talking to somebody, but not getting connected to a team member, they're talking to somebody within 5 minutes typically. So,
and you can strategize. You can say to our call answering service, you can say, listen, if it's a commercial job that meets this criteria, I don't care what time of the day it is, you patch it through to my cell phone. If you don't answer the cell phone, they will take a message. But imagine you've got Costco calling, wanting to pave a parking lot. And literally, you don't care if you're on a machine, you're answering that phone and you're turning that machine off and you're hopping off and taking the call. Yep. You can land $1 million jobs that way. 300% increase in close rates by talking to the person in under 60 seconds.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I would say, to kind of finish off the conversation of some of the keys here to winning in the second half of 2021, from our standpoint, we analyze, search volumes and things like that. And this time of year, as Brett alluded to earlier, with the cost of pay-per-click ads going up, that is because the amount of traffic that's online searching for the solutions that we provide, it is never higher than it is in the back half of the year. So for those of you out there that may have some openings on your schedule, you're not completely full for the season. It is more important than ever for you to be present online, for you to have Google My Business dialed in, all of the different things that you have on your digital presence to make sure that those things are front and center. So what are your thoughts on that, Brett?
Fill the void with your phone. Once that's done, throw fuel on the fire and get more and more and more leads. But the first thing you need to do is fill that hole that you have, which is 90% of contractors that we deal with are missing more than 20% of the incoming phone calls. Do that, throw fuel on the fire with ads, and you'll have record years every year, I can assure you.
Yeah, I agree, man. It is really that simple, right? The people who are doing well, that are clients of ours, they all have the same system pretty much set up,
100%.
right? Like
It
it is. Yeah, it absolutely works, and it's very simple. And all you have to do is just kind of have the right mousetrap set so that nothing ever gets past, and everything kind of works out the way that it should. It's about traffic visibility, having the right process on the front end to be able to connect with people, and then providing people with a great experience and a quality product. And the rest really does take care of itself. I mean, you see for the people who are winning almost how easy it is. It doesn't mean that the whole entire process is easy. There's a lot of complication in construction, but it really is a lot simpler to win customers in this industry than anywhere else you've seen, correct?
Brian, we have the playbook. I'm going through looking at performance reports. I review every one of them. I'm seeing people with conversion rates at 20+%. We convert the leads. You have to be able to handle the traffic, and that starts with phone calls. Once you have that, you're on a path to grow, and the rest is easy.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. So, well, we hope that all of you guys are having an amazing 2021 season. If you are one of those companies out there that is, not completely booked out yet, your schedule isn't completely full for the year, take a look at some of these things. Make sure that you're answering the phone, make sure that everything digitally is set up correctly. If you have any questions whatsoever on how to do that or what it looks like to do that, how to run ads, anything like that, feel free to reach out to us. You can find us at leadrevenue.com or Lead Revenue on any social platform, and feel free to shoot us a DM, shoot us an email, anything like that, and we will get right back to you. And we do answer the phone every single time. We like to act out what we tell you guys to do in our own business here. So appreciate you guys tuning in. And until next time, we will see you again on the Digital Contractor Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in.